Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Denmark once again. We're going to stick to the island of Sjaelland. We're going to a little place called Kirke, Hyllinge, just close to Roskilde, to the west of Copenhagen actually, and we're doing my second review from Hornbeer. So this one is the Vladimir P. It's a 12% Imperial Stout, described on the back of the bottle as a triple Russian XXL Imperial Stout, so it should be a really quite nice one this. It was rated 99 overall on Rate Beer and 77 within the Imperial Stout category, so that tells you it should be really very good but quite quirky within the thing. Rate Beer of course usually is a good barometer to check what your beer's about, although I have found on occasion it can be a bit off, at least in my mind. But as we always say, beer is subjective, you know, you like what you like, and just stick to what you like basically. So a thank you to Karsten at Kiosk in Copenhagen for helping me pick out this beer. He told me it was a little bit of a rarity these days. I'll tell you a little bit about that later in the video, but as always I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews I've done from Hornbeer before. There will be some more in the near future of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel of course uses a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one for all my Danish beers that I've reviewed before as well, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review, especially if you're watching in Denmark actually, because I know you guys have got some really awesome stuff over there. But your support and your input to the channel is always hugely appreciated. Always great to hear from you guys, so don't hesitate to get in touch, and do check out the social media like I said. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about Hornbeer then. So Hornbeer is a farmhouse brewery from Sjaelland in Denmark, and it was founded back in 2008 by Gunhild and Jørgen Fogh Rasmussen. So the brewery is actually in a small town called Kirke, Hyllinge, like I said, and it's not too far from Roskilde. But Jørgen was actually quite an avid home brewer, and Gunhild also really loved beer, so it was then they just decided it was logical for them to start up their own company together. But the first brewery was a very small one, and it only produced about 300 litres per brew. But the first year that they were actually in business, their Caribbean rum stout, which I will have for you sometime soon, was actually named the best new beer in Denmark. But 3 months after the brewery was founded, the building actually burnt to the ground, so they had to build a new brewery, and this opened in January of 2009. But these days they've recovered very strongly of course, and they're producing over 2,000 hectolitres of beer per year, and they have over 30 beers in their range, and many of them have actually won awards. The lovely artwork that you'll see on these bottles as well is actually produced by Gunhild. Quite a talented artist, I'm sure you'd agree, but the company is actually aiming to make the production of their beers CO2 neutral as well. So quite an interesting company, and this seems to be becoming more prominent with breweries in Denmark. They all want to be very green. And you know, Denmark is a really good beer country these days. Copenhagen's one of the best beer cities in the world. We've got Gothenburg in Sweden of course, and you know, it's really cool for me to kind of live somewhere in the middle of these two cities, because you can go up north or you can just go west a little bit, and you've got two very, very good beer cities. So if you come to Scandinavia, go to Gothenburg or to Copenhagen and try some of these beers. It's you know, there's some really great stuff there. And the last beer I had from Hornbeer, which was the Vorel, their spring beer, was actually very, very nice as well. So yeah, that's enough about the brewery just now. As I say, if you want to learn more about them, check out the brewery website in the description below. They've got a lot of different beers, and pretty much with Hornbeer you could pick a style that you enjoy yourself, and I'm pretty sure you will find it pretty damn good actually. Their beers do tend to be really quite nice. So anyway, I'll just tell you a little bit about this beer actually. As I said, this one is a 12% Imperial Stout. There is a big blurb on the back of this one. It's in Danish, so I'll just have the English translation of it for you here. And so it says, Vladimir P is a triple Russian XXL Imperial Stout, a brand new beer category brewed with infinite respect for the popular president who unselfishly rates all his energy to implement unpopular decisions. These are characteristics that people generally miss in politicians across the globe, but also the high degree of empathy that are expelled when minorities must be protected. How he, with the determination annexation rural areas with minorities who exhibit sympathy for the charismatic president, just as he protects the small minority of the nation's own men who think better of other nations' men than they do about Petrushka and Varushka. A trip behind Tremorar, I'm not sure exactly, I don't think this one is translating all that well, but better, so Western politicians can clearly learn something here. This is probably why they are now acidic. Vladimir P is a natural successor for Tsarina Katharina's favourite Russian Imperial Stout at 8.2% from Hornbeer. So this is basically a bigger version of their Serena Catherine's Imperial Stout, but it's 100 years ago, well over. She was not exactly known for her democratic leanings. It was a little cold, choleric and calculated, but when she could drink a Russian Imperial Stout, this time we will now be drinking a triple XXL Imperial Stout of 12%. So that kind of gives you the gist of what they were saying in the blurb. They are not completely grammatically correct English on this one, of course, but you know, it does the job. So I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork of this one before we open up. Let me just bring up the camera. There you can see this is obviously a reference to that picture of Vladimir Putin where he was riding the horse, or the horse kind of half naked, of course. There you can see there's a gay rainbow as well. That's obviously a reference to the kind of quite unusual gay laws, or anti-gay laws I should say, in Russia. There you can see the nice Hornbeer bottle cap on this one. And I have to admit, you know, I don't understand that attitude that's given towards gay people and things like that. To me it just doesn't make sense. So I kind of I do agree a little bit with the sentiment in the bottle of this one. So yeah, but without further ado then, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting. So as you can see, a nice smoky opening on this one. And I should point out actually, when I bought this beer, Karsten at kiosk in Copenhagen, he was telling me that the company actually have stopped production of this beer because there was some Russian hackers who kind of who threatened them a little bit, saying they would take down their website and things like this because of what the blurb on the bottle actually said, and because it was kind of making fun of Vladimir Putin a little bit. So I couldn't find any articles that were saying that, but Karsten told me that that's why this beer is a bit of a rarity, and that's why he pointed me to this one when I asked him if there was anything kind of unusual that I should get now. So yeah, thank you Karsten for the recommendation. It's always cool to kind of do things like this. So yeah, as you can see then, this beer has poured a really nice kind of dark ebony rosewood colour, as you would expect. There's a kind of frothy, beigey, sort of chocolatey brown head on this one. It's almost the same colour, actually, as you would expect from hot chocolate. If I hold it up to the light, there's a little bit of a ruby edge to this beer, but really, more than anything else, it is just a dark ebony rosewood colour. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, but quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there, but it looks really nice. And just paying attention to the aromas, kind of briefly on this one, you know, you can pick up a really sweet fruity character from this one. It's actually got a lot of nice chocolatey things going on, but we'll pay a bit of a closer attention to it just now. Pardon me. It smells lovely, this beer. You know, it actually has a really nice roasted character to it. So there's a big sort of roasted black malt thing just underpinning this one. There's a lot of sweet chocolate. Maybe it's a kind of dark chocolate one. It's almost like chocolate sauce actually. It does smell, it's an odd thing to say, but the beer does smell like really, really thick. Absolutely lovely smelling beer, this one. There's definitely some brown sugars in there. You can pick up the sort of treacle molasses kind of thing to this beer. It's got a lovely sort of woody and nutty thing going on. There's definitely some vanilla in here. You can smell the vanilla when you open the beer up. That comes out of it right away. Some woody and nutty notes, like I was saying. There's a wee bit of I think there's a bit of a smoky character to this as well. And it almost, you know, to me, it almost smells a little bit meaty, but that's maybe off the ball. It does have a little bit of a kind of smoky character to it, but overwhelmingly it's chocolate, dark chocolate, roasted black malts, some nutty woody notes, as I was saying, the toasted brown sugars, vanilla's in there definitely, a little bit of earthy hop maybe, but overwhelmingly the aroma is quite sweet. But there's some nice red fruity esters in this beer as well. I think the red fruity esters in this one, they're actually quite sharp, so I'd be tempted to say it's raisins and plums coming out of this one. I'm not sure, maybe it's not quite cherries, it's not quite that sharp, but definitely some raisins or plums or something like that. Maybe a little bit of figgy character in there as well, but it's definitely sharper, so that makes me think raisins and plums in this one. But yeah, smells like a really, really nice beer, so let's give it a go then. So this one is the Vladimir P, a 12% Imperial Stout, or triple XXL Russian Imperial Stout from Hornbeer in Kirke Hyllinge over in Denmark. Skål! That is really nice. It's different. I mean, if you've seen in the last couple of videos, I did the Omnipoyo, then I did the Nunja Dark Horizon. It amazes me with Imperial Stouts, you know, you really can just get these completely different flavours from them. This one's different quite significantly from the other two that I've reviewed in the last couple of days for you. This is lovely. The mouthfeel of it's just really nice as well. It's a big, oily, milky mouthfeel, this one. So that's what caught my eye with this beer right away. But it's lovely. So it starts off for me quite sweet. You've got a lot of kind of milky chocolate there. Once the flavour subsides a little bit, you can feel the centre of your palate where the malt base is going to come out. You can really feel the sort of dark black malts there just kind of underpinning this beer, and on top of that you can feel some of the sweeter chocolatey elements, but definitely as the flavour progresses it's more of these roasty black bitter malts that are coming out of this beer. But this is really, really nice. Big black malts, like I say. The beer starts off very sweet. There's a lot of milky chocolate in there. You can feel a little bit of that slightly darker or heavier cocoa chocolate in there as well. There's a lovely big brown sugar character to this one. It's a sort of treacle molasses kind of thing in this one. You can feel a little bit of a sweet, slightly lighter, sweeter caramel in this one as well, and it does come across as a little bit toasted, but initially it's very sweet. But like I say, these toasted, roasted flavours start to kind of propagate on the middle of your tongue as the flavour progresses of the beer, and the aftertaste, really it's those roasty elements that are just lingering there, and a little bit of earthy hop as well. But this is a really, really nice beer. Towards the front of your tongue, in the middle of the palate, you get that the chocolatey elements of this beer. There's a good chunk of vanilla coming out of this too. The vanilla flavour is really quite lovely in this one. I have to admit, I do like that. I wonder if it's Madagascan vanilla that they've put in this actually, because it reminds me of one of the other beers that I had, I think, from Ugly Duck. They were using Madagascan vanilla in an Imperial coffee porter or something. The vanilla flavour in this one reminds me of that. But this is a nice beer, definitely. If you see a bottle of this, it is quite rare now from what I understand. Buy it up and have a go. But the one thing I'd say about this is you would never ever guess that it's 12% alcohol. You get no alcohol warmth from this one whatsoever. There's maybe a tiny little bit of it just down here, but when you're actually drinking the beer, you'd have no idea that this is anywhere near as high in alcohol as it actually is. I'm getting a little bit of a kind of woody and sort of nutty character coming off this one as well, which is quite nice. It starts to just, you can feel that in the sweetness in the middle of the palate. The hoppy side of this beer is really quite simple. It's a little bit of earthiness in the back corners of the palate, and that just spreads forward. Really the edge of your tongue for me, it's very, very smooth. It's just a smooth earthiness there. The hoppy side of this beer is quite simple. And you know, the thing I would say about this beer is that it is actually, it hasn't really got anything that's unusual for the Imperial Stout category for me, but it does everything very, very well. That's the one thing I would say, and that surprises me a little bit about the rating it has, because you know, they were saying it was 99 overall, which I can agree with. This is a very, very good beer, but 77 within the Imperial Stout category. For me, there's not really things that you wouldn't not expect from this beer in it. You know, it's got all the things you'd kind of expect from an Imperial Stout. It's lovely, you know, it's a very, very good beer. I would say this is probably one of the best Danish beers that I've had, actually, to be quite honest with you. It really is one of the best Danish beers I've had. And one of the best Imperial Stouts that I've reviewed as well. It's a damn good beer, there's no two doubts about that. But yeah, as I was saying, smooth earthy hop on this one. If you just go behind that front curve of your tongue, that's of course where you get this little oily bubble where the nice red fruity esters come out of the beer. So with this one, as you progress into the aftertaste, I think it's a little bit more of a red candied fruit ester to this beer. As I always say, it reminds me of these little heart-shaped sweets that you get from Haribo Star Mix. It has a little bit of that, but when it starts off, it's quite raisiny, it's quite plummy. It's actually a very juicy red fruit that comes in initially, and then it just kind of fades away to be that really nice sort of candied red fruit ester, as I say, reminiscent of those little heart-shaped sweets in Haribo Star Mix. But this, you know, in terms of the flavour, this is a top class beer. As I said, one of the best Imperial Stouts I've reviewed, and I think it could well be one of the, it's definitely in the top 2 or 3 Danish beers that I've reviewed. You know, I talked about Batch 1000 being one of the best IPAs that I've reviewed, And I think that probably is the best Danish beer that I have reviewed, but this one certainly is up there with the Amor Batch 1000, although it's a completely different end of the spectrum. This is a really, really good beer. It's a shame that if they've stopped doing this, it really is a shame. So I would hope that maybe they could kind of resurrect this beer and just put a different label on it, but it's a top class beer, and if you come across it, I would recommend that you just buy a bottle of it because it is that good. So in terms of the mouthfeel, this one, as I was saying, this is definitely a full bodied beer. The carbonation is very smooth. It really is a big oily creamy beer, this one. There's not much carbonation kind of prickled in the mouth at all. There's a lot of sweet malty character to this one. The hops, as I was saying, are very smooth. There's a tiny little bit of bitterness in the back corners of your palate, but overall this is quite a sweet Imperial Stout. There's a little bit of juicy fruity character in there as well, but you would never ever guess with this one that it's 12% ABV. It's an absolute cracker of a beer. You know, this is, as I say, this is up there with the best Imperial Stouts I've reviewed on the channel. The Nugget was really good. I mean, I can think of the Yellow Belly from Onmipoyo as well. This one is on the same level with those as the Dark Horizon and the Yellow Belly. It really is up there. This is a very, very good beer, and I'm quite sad if this is going to be the last time that it's going to be available, so hopefully Hornbeer do resurrect this one under another name or figure out some way to get this beer back out again, because it is really quite good. So yeah, this was the Vladimir P from Hornbeer over in Kirke, Hyllinge in Denmark. A really top class beer, and I'd highly recommend that you have a go at this one if you get the chance. So in terms of the rating and 99 it has on Rate Beer, I can fully agree with that. This is a really, really nice beer, so give it a go if you get the chance. But yeah, thank you once again for watching my beer reviews. Thank you of course to Karsten at Kiosk in Copenhagen for recommending me this one. This was a top class beer. So until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below, and let me know what other Horn beers I should have a go at. Actually, you will see me review the Caribbean Rum Stout at some point in the next couple of weeks. I am getting a bottle of that through the small port here, so you will see me review that sometime soon. But let me know what other Hornbeer beers you would actually like me to review, and I'm sure I'll get round to them at some point. But this was the Vladimir P, an awesome Imperial Stout from Hornbeer over in Denmark. Until the next time, it's Sjaelland just now. I hope you've enjoyed the review, and I will catch you very soon. Cheers just now. Skål.